Good morning, friends, and welcome to Tata Motors presents Partners in Progress, powered by Apollo Tyres. A truck driver is not just related to transporters, trucks, and truck manufacturers. There are many other industries and service providers that directly impact the truck drivers. While many people would feel that truck drivers are a neglected lot, that is not the entirely correct picture. There are many people out there who care about the truck drivers and are committed to come up with products and services that have a direct impact on the lives and working conditions of the truck drivers. And in this episode, we feature a few such companies who focus on making the truck driver's life better. While the sale of a truck is a one-time transaction, the service of the truck is a recurring process. And the person who takes a truck to the dealership for service or repair is the truck driver. This process may take a few hours to a couple of days, depending on the extent of repair or service. So what does the truck driver do until then? We visited PASCO Motors, a leading dealer for Tata Motors commercial vehicles, and witnessed the facilities for the truck drivers. And let me tell you, it was absolutely amazing. We also got a chance to interact with Mr. Sanjay Passi, chairman at PASCO, and learn more about these facilities as well as what he thinks of truck drivers. His answers will surely inspire and encourage truck drivers. Here are excerpts of that interaction. So Sanjay ji, welcome to Partners in Progress. Okay. To start with, how important do you think are truck drivers from your personal perspective, the commercial vehicle industry, and PASCO automobiles? These three, how relevant is the truck driver?
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me on your show. It's really very nice and thoughtful of you. So today, truck drivers are actually the backbone of the commercial vehicle industry. So you can imagine if there's no driver, there won't be trucks driven, and then they won't be manufactured. So actually, you can call them the real soldiers. If there's a war, soldiers fight it. For commercial vehicle industry, it's actually our drivers who are the soldiers. And since they are the backbone of the industry, and every manufacturer today is making sure that the truck drivers are taken care of.
You've been in the commercial vehicle industry for quite some time now. What changes have you seen in trucks that actually impact the truck driver directly? You've seen trucks right in and out for the last...
Yeah, so I'll tell you, you will be glad to know that my father was a truck driver. Yes. So what stories I've heard from him and what I can feel for the driver, it's very rare perhaps some other dealer could do so. And because we were given the Tata Motors dealership in 1965. So it's been now a 60 years long journey. My father started it, then I carried it on, and now my son, who's 28 years old, so he's the third generation player. So every manufacturer today makes sure that the drivers are taken care of. I'll give you an example that even Tata Motors is so particular that we've also taken insurance for the drivers. God forbid if anything happens, the driver's family is taken care of by that insurance. Not only life insurance, but even medical. Another step forward, Tata Motors also is now educating their children. The different programs that have been started. So, they used to say the customer is king, but in this commercial vehicle industry, the driver is the king.
Absolutely.
So that's how it's all going about it. Yeah.
But while we say the driver is the king, do you think the drivers are actually treated that way?
See, I can't talk about others, but yes, as far as my dealership is concerned, I have run about 11 touch points for Tata Motors, and we really take care of each and every driver of ours. For us, he's not a driver. Actually, I tell my team that he should be treated like a customer. Whether it's his sleeping, where it's air-conditioned sleeping we're providing to him, whether it's his toilet, whether it's clothes to be washed, washing machines, whether plasma TVs, whether it's a cafeteria where we're providing him free lunch, right up to we give a kit where we give even a toothpaste, toothbrush and a soap to him also. So no doubt these are small things, but these small things for a driver, it's really makes him, feel a lot, So we actually take a lot of care of him. Yeah, we don't treat him like a driver. He's treated like a customer because he's the one actually who influences the owner that नहीं साहब गाड़ी टाटा की ठीक नहीं है, ये वाली गाड़ी ठीक है या ये ठीक है. So he is not only a driver, he is an influencer also. Absolutely. In the long run. Absolutely. Yeah, because the owner, the transporter would not buy a particular truck if his drivers are not happy. Yeah.
In fact, you'll be happy to know, yesterday we were at your dealership talking to one of the drivers, and he said the kind of facilities we see at PASCO, we haven't seen at any other dealership.
No, thank you so much. Thank you.
Is there a conscious effort to do this extra bit for the drivers?
Yeah, there has always been from the very beginning. When my father handed over this dealership to me, he told me that the backbone of the whole thing is the drivers. Take care of the drivers. He said to take care of two things. One is your staff and one is the drivers. If the staff is happy, the customer is happy. And if the driver is happy, the transporter is happy. Absolutely. So this is a win-win situation. So I have always focused all my energies and everything on the driver as well as my employees. Yeah.
Finally, Sanjay, how do you see the future of this industry going forward, especially when people are talking about driver shortage? Do you think that will have an impact somewhere?
See, driver shortage is not only in India, it's all over the world. I mean, I was reading an article perhaps a month ago when I was on a flight that in the US there's a shortage of drivers, and Trump is coming out with a new policy for drivers, for truck drivers, because all the goods movement is done, across east, west and everything by trailers and all, and a driver business in the US is not considered to be that lucrative. And you won't believe it, around about 30% of the drivers are Indians, So new policy is being coming in by the Trump administration. So the drivers, yes, every manufacturer is making sure that the drivers are taken care of in the long run, yes.
Anything extra we can do to make this profession a little more attractive?
See, a driver in the sense is like he feels that, he has to leave his home for 15 days, 20 days. He feels lonely, but that is not actually the case, because even if you see a soldier, he's on the borders, he gets leave only 30, 40 days in a year, So he's also there in extreme temperatures, extreme weather. But now the manufacturers like Mr. Nitin Gadkari ji has come out that now from 1st of April, all cabins will be air conditioned. So when the driver sees this, things are becoming lucrative down the line. Mr. Nitin Gadkari has made sure that all expressways, every 50 kilometers, there'll be a touch point. Not only petrol or something, even he's made sure, even for the drivers, there'll be sleeping rooms for the drivers. Because Mr. Gadkari ji wants to make the highways safe. And how to make the highways safe is to make sure that the drivers are comfortable. Because today, the drivers of trucks, they are the major users of the highways,
Absolutely.
Yeah. And today, I'll also like to let you know that at PASCO, we've always made sure that the driver is given the most important thing, He's not doing a favor by coming to us. In fact, we are doing him a favor, So, and I don't know whether you've seen my Faridabad, I've put that Gandhiji's
yes, I saw
thing where Mr. Father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi ji has cleared very clear terms. He said, define the customer,
Absolutely.
What is a customer? Yeah.
Any new initiatives from PASCO that we will be seeing in the next, coming few months?
So see, new initiatives, I can't say offhand right now, but my objective in business is not to become bigger and bigger. My objective is to become better and better. So that should be an objective in life. Then only you can succeed further. But, so if you try, and your staff also knows that our owner's mind is that we have to become better and better in every form, whether it's service, whether it's spares, whether it's sales. That's why every year Tata Motors gives us so many awards, because we always like to think out of the box,
Absolutely.
Unless and until you don't think out of the box, you'll never reach the podium,
Absolutely.
That's right.
Until a few years back, tires were a significant cost for any transporter or trucker. However, with toll tax becoming an expensive component, tires may have moved to number 3, but it is still a very important part of operations. In fact, how can you move a truck without wheels? Coming after this break, an interaction with Mr. Rajesh Dahiya, Vice President Commercial, India, SAARC and Southeast Asia from Apollo Tyres, who tells us what the company is doing for truck drivers and is the truck driver a factor while designing tires. See you on the other side of this very short break. But wait, before you get into the break, here's a message from Rajesh Kaul from Tata Motors. You are watching Tata Motors Presents Partners in Progress, powered by Apollo Tyres.
Hello everyone, I'm Rajesh Kaul and I'm responsible for the truck business at Tata Motors, commercial vehicles. We are also committed to enhancing, like I said, the earning potential of our Sarthis. Our trucks are built for high uptime, allowing timely delivery and higher fuel efficiency. With innovations like fuel efficient engines, multi-mode fuel efficiency switches, and gear shift advisors. These very naturally come and help our drivers save on fuel and naturally increase their earnings. Our fleet edge or the telematics, what we call, provides our real-time insights, into driving behavior, helping drivers improve their skills for safer driving and even better fuel efficiency management. This translates into higher incentives for them and therefore greater financial rewards.
इधर इधर उधर उधर जाए किधर
इधर इधर उधर 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 उधर
ए पकड़ पकड़ जकड़ जकड़ चला किधर ये रपट लपट फिसल फुसल कर देखो मनमानी ओ हर तरफ है खींचातानी जीवन की है यही कहानी अरे जीवन की है यही कहानी जीवन की आसमान घिसा टायर छोटे बच्चे की तरह अपनी मनमानी चलाता है। लगवाइए अपोलो एंडुरेंस आर टायर। इसकी टेक्नोलॉजी ऐसी कि टायर पर पड़े एक समान दबाव मिले एक समान घिसाव।
तो जीवन भैया अपोलो एंडुरेंस आर टायर क्यों?
ताकि तरक्की के रास्ते पे टायर की नहीं चले मेरी मनमानी।
Welcome back to Tata Motors Presents Partners in Progress, powered by Apollo Tyres. Let's see how Apollo Tyres, as a tire manufacturer, makes life better for our partners, the truck drivers. So, Rajesh, welcome to Partners in Progress. To start with, how important is a truck driver in terms of three aspects? One, the economy of the country as a whole, the transport industry, and Apollo Tyres.
I'll say that truck driver is at the center of any activity. And, the country moves on trucks. Unlike some of the other countries, this country is still 70-75% movement is still on trucks. And trucks movement is very, very critical to have truck drivers. And truck drivers are absolutely critical. If you look at the 2-3 instances which have happened earlier, the COVID, if you did not have truck drivers, you would imagine how the country would have been. Now, talking recently of that instance which happened between India and Pakistan, imagine a case if situation had gone worse. You still needed food, you still needed things to move. So truck driver certainly is the backbone of entire thing that we say. That's overall. From an Apollo's point of view and transporter point of view, I think again the same thing, because the country grows, transportation movements, and for us really, really critical to ensure that the truck drivers stay in good place, they get comfortable drives, they have good lives because they're out of their they're away from their families for long periods. So it's absolutely critical that all levels we look after them, and they continue to be the backbone of the entire economy.
But tell me, when you're designing a tire, is the truck driver somewhere in that space? Is there something, some element which goes into the tire which makes the drivability better from the driver's point of view?
I think it's an absolutely good question, Girish. So what I will say is that, let me start it like this. While we design tires, we design tire for a better performance from competition, and certainly we design a good tire so that we're better than the competition for Indian rules, etc. But what is critical is that since the truck drivers are driving the trucks, a lot depends on them, what they feel about the tire and how do they perceive that tire. And they have a lot of views which they can impact the owners also. So from our point of view, even if, for example, a truck owner wants to buy a tire, but if the driver is not happy, he will not be able to move forward. So what we still try and do is that it is really critical that even if you're designing tire for the road, for transportation, for margin, but you also you also make tires which are very, very comfortable for the driver. So it makes sense to them. Having said that, in a very different terms, if I look at today from a driver point of view, these drivers are again driving, let's say 400, 500 kilometers every day. There are now, after the highways have come up, there are highway routes, very long highway routes, Delhi to Chennai, for example. There are regional routes, Delhi to Jaipur, Delhi to Bombay. Then there are very, very localized routes, etc. For every route of this, actually, you need to think about driver's comfort, more mileage, better traction, his safety, his comfort, everything. So somewhere, even if you're designing tire for business, the core of this is the ultimate user should be kept in mind. So that is something that we always feel and believe, and our own marketing programs, apart from tires, are all aligned to that. So it's absolutely critical to keep driver at the center of what we're designing.
Now, just besides the tire part of it, what other activities is Apollo Tyres doing for the drivers, and maybe they're making their lives simpler, better?
So again, I'll say that driver is at the core of everything that we try and do. Within that, very specifically, I'll say that we have two very, very different level of initiatives. One initiative is the corporate level, which means that we today have almost 34 health centers across the country in transport nagars, which is part of sustainability and healthcare, which is run by a division within the company. Now, all these health centers that we have, they are largely either in transport nagar or they have accessibility to where the transporters are or the drivers are. Typically there we have a doctor, MBBS doctor there, nursing staff, counseling staff also, all of them are there. And it's a physical structure where they sit. Mm-hmm. Now typically there you can get a HIV counseling, we give them eye testings, hearing, etc., even TB, testing, all those things that we try and do. So it can be both, they can come there, they get it checked, also behavioral or a little bit of, if they have queries with respect to that education. That's a very, very corporate kind of thing that we are trying to do, which is at a large level, which we are doing for last couple of years.
But that's an ongoing process.
That's an ongoing process. And we
on
keep
a
on
daily basis.
Yes, and we keep on increasing it. For example, another transport nagar, basis field, and we keep on, this is something that we've been building up. The other initiative that we do is very localized, which is my field team. The sales guys, the customer service guys, in the field, they do it. On a regular basis, they have the list of these transporters. So we reach out to them. If there is a big fleet, let's say if there is a big fleet with 100 trucks, 200, 500 trucks, we'll reach out to them. We'll say, okay, we make tires and all that is fine, but we want to do something for your drivers. And with their agreement, we will try and there have a session on how to get better tires. And apart from this also, we'll have there also their eye checkup camps, hearing checkup camps, blood pressure measurement. Recently, we had come out whether we are actually given the specs. And the interesting part is that, I'm forgetting the percentage, but a significant percentage of drivers are not even aware that their eyes are weak. So these things will come out and we're given specs also. So those things. So local initiatives and this organized. So that's the way we try and interact with them. And Girish, one of the point which is also worthwhile to mention is that at a very nominal fees of 20 rupees, the drivers can register in these health centers and then they can use any of these 34 facilities that we have for any of these benefits that you're talking about. So because they are mobile, so if somebody is starting from Delhi and he happens to be in Bombay and he needs this kind of help, because of that registration, he can avail those services there also. So it's something which is very, very progressive, and I think industry is trying to copy it, but I have not seen any concrete, somebody has been able to come closer to this.
Rajesh, back in time, tires were number 2 in the operating cost of a truck, but with toll tax, tires are down to number 3 now. But is Apollo Tyres trying to do something where the driver can get, or the trucker can get more out of the tire and get a better price utilization of the tire? Something is being done on that ground.
Yeah, I think that is something which is very critical, and it is something which is part of evolution. That is evolving. So what is the concept today? Maybe for a driver is one part, but today even with the big fleets, they've started asking for CPKM contracts, which means cost per kilometer contract. Now they are saying that if I look after a tire, I have my limitations. So, but you as a company can manage it better. So can you help me with get a lower cost per kilometer from these tires? That's typically the big guys are talking about. But having said that, you understand more than me that India, still 70-80% of the vehicles are controlled by the small fleet. So one guy, and a lot of them are single driver also. So as a result, what is really critical is that we must be able to do something by which the operating cost comes down. That's one. Other is it's a cost. As you said, the tire is the second after the fuel, so it's a cost. The lower it is, better is their profitability. That's the other thing. So what we are trying to do is that today all our tires, by and large, we are trying to show if we can enhance their mileage, so the tire lasts longer. That's one. Other is we are also trying to make them more durable, so that the failures are less and less. Also, I like to compliment that when this also, the government support also, because if you look at today, the roads are much better. I don't know when you're talking about this, but I don't know if you can tell me when did you have a last puncture in your car? You won't even remember it. And there was a time earlier, 20 years earlier, that broadly you had your car standing every second. So there are two things. One, the infra itself is becoming better. The other is from our point of view also, we are trying to ensure that, there is more to the tire. We are able to give more from the same tire. Technology is saying, so today tubeless in truck is something, is small percentage becoming bigger. So you get even tubeless, it's the next level of technology, there'll be more things happening. So this is something which is like more and more, every company is pushing it. We, because of our global exposure, so we have more access to technology, so we are able to get even better. Right. So that's something that we are trying to do.
Rajesh, roads are getting better, your tires are getting better, which means you'll be selling lesser number of tires. Does it bother you?
Yeah, it's a good thing. So Girish, when I was answering your last question, this thing was coming in my mind itself, that you can come and tell me that, look, what is happening, everything is getting better, your business is getting less. That's not the case. There are two things.
But tires are getting expensive also.
So there are two things. One, they are getting expensive because of RM and everything. The country grows, everything getting expensive. That's not something I'm very happy about, that because getting more expensive, so we need to get more business, more people into the business. But I think the larger part of why we are still happy, even if it's lasting longer, etc., because we are a growing economy. So 6.5% to 7% GDP growth is happening. As a result, there is a lot more for everybody and anybody. So this growth is there. So even if some tires are lasting longer, you're still growing more and more. That's one part of the story. The second part of within that is that the service setup is actually coming up. So people today are spending more time in alignment, balancing, taking care of tire. So even if the tire revenue is going down a little bit, your service revenues are coming up. I just wanted to mention a point to earlier questions also, that we also, apart from this initiative that we have got close to 110 CV zones across the country. The CV zones are truck centers where you have alignment, balancing, this thing, the tire selling definitely is there, and there are technicians, etc. And these are on the largely either on the highways, on the transporter. These centers typically we are trying to develop for the dealer contact centers also. So a trucker who's there can approach them apart from getting the tire alignment, balance, etc. We are also trying to create some kind of spaces where they can rest. In some of them, we are also trying to take forward, can we have some kind of a little bit dhaba link to that? Over a period of time, we have approached that can we create, it can be from there, connect with their families today. While mobile phone, all those things are there, but if somebody wants to, let's say, dispatch something, he can go there and leave there, and some courier will collect and send. These are some of the ideas which are on the table. Some bit of this is already happening, but large part of this is you will see over a period of time. So what we are trying to do is that in the same light, we are trying to ensure that we do more for this universe, which is the truck driver.
Finally, Rajesh, driver shortage is an issue which has been bothering the industry for a long time now. What more steps can we do to make this profession look better and attractive?
I think, Girish, that's $1 million question. I remember somebody met me in the south, earlier part of my career, and somebody said there's a driver shortage. I said, why? He says, अगर कोई इस धंधे में होता है ना, उनकी शादी वगैरह नहीं होती है at that point in time. अब मैं जब पूछता हूँ, people are saying, no, the situation has changed much better. So today, if you look at today, one, I guess they're getting paid better.
Absolutely.
That's one. The other is all the transporters are realizing that you might have the best truck, but you need somebody who can drive it. That's one. Other is, a good driver makes a difference. So today, it is not the driver, it's about better driver, etc. All those make a difference because he's taking a truck, loaded, everything. If a better driver, trustable driver, who can drive truck well, who can look after the tires, he gives you much more than what he's earning. That's something. I think this problem is slightly less. Having said that, a growing economy will have more trucks, and if more trucks means more driver. We need to structurally address this. And by addressing this, I think few companies are taking those initiatives, some driving training schools somewhere. Right. But I guess it can be a lot more can be done in that. But I think that if we can add a little bit of prestige to this, and we can, all the corporates, like even us also, can do something better, I think this problem can kind of getting little resolved. That's something, and I'm seeing, I'm seeing some bit of this is already happening, and people are aware. I remember one of a big fleet somewhere in Delhi was telling me that there is a particular weekend he organizes a volleyball match kind of thing for his drivers so that they engage, etc. And then people talk about giving them insurances, all those things. So people are working on that direction. It still is a lot far away where it should be, but I think
it's work in progress.
It is working in progress.
While a truck driver's life inside the truck has been made better by manufacturers, by providing facilities and systems that make his journey less tiring, there are certain factors outside the truck that make life miserable for the truck drivers. And top of the list is the harassment by officials on the highways. Can there be some respite for the truck drivers? Can someone assist the truck drivers on the highways when they are unnecessarily pulled up by officials? Lloyd on the spot can be the answer to these issues. And to tell us more about lawyers on the spot, we have with us Himanshu Gupta and Gautam Saraf. But on the other side of this very short break, you are watching Tata Motors presents Partners in Progress, powered by Apollo Tyres.
Hello everyone, I'm Rajesh Kaul, and I'm responsible for the truck business at Tata Motors. Commercial vehicles, Tata Motors care deeply for the welfare of our Sarthis. We are known that almost, I would say 14 years back in 2011, when we introduced various such initiatives, what we call as Tata Samarth, that includes insurance, accidental up to 10 lakhs, and hospitalization cashless cover up to 50,000 annually. And this is irrespective of the chases, any chases Tata vehicle, any driver will drive. So it's on the chases where this insurance has been provided. So we have already around 1.2 million, 12 lakh drivers already enrolled in this program, ensuring financial protection and peace of mind to them and their families.
अपोलो के 5 स्टार रेटेड टायर लगवाएं, फ्यूल और पैसा दोनों बचाएं।
Welcome back to Tata Motors presents Partners in Progress, powered by Apollo Tyres. Lloyd on the Spot, or LOTS, has been helping truck drivers on the highways with legal assistance, including a back-end call center as well as lawyers whenever required. In fact, some of the drivers have been flaunting their alliance with LOTS and getting away rather lightly. So what exactly does LOTS do to help truck drivers? Let's hear it from Himanshu and Gautam.
Hi, I'm Himanshu Gupta. I'm the founder CEO of Lawyer.
I am Gautam Saraf. I'm the managing partner and CG of Lawyer.
And thank you so much for featuring us in Partners in Progress. We are very glad to be part of it, sharing how and what we are doing for the benefit of truck drivers in the country. So I feel truck drivers are the lowest in the whole value chain of the entire logistics sector. Logistics sector is the backbone of our GDP of the country. So when we started LOTS, which is our roadside legal assistance platform, Lawyer on the Spot, we realized that we need to do something for the upliftment of the truck drivers on the road. So for that, this whole initiative was done with the help of AITWA and now all the leading associations in the country. So practically what we do is we have got this solution or a roadside legal assistance platform where we have a 24/7 legal helpline. So anywhere in the country, if the truck driver is in distress, whether by any official on the road or any complex situation of accident or any robbery kind of a situation, all they need to do is call us on our helpline number and we will speak with the official on their behalf to help them resolve the matter. So this initiative was started with the help of AITWA way back in 2021 and now it has become a national vibe and many of the transporters, truckers and truck drivers have also been part of it. So much so that we have launched a separate initiative called Highway Heroes Plus along with AITWA for the benefit of truck drivers, whereby we are not only providing this roadside legal assistance and also the on-the-spot lawyer, in case of any situation that requires so, but also we are extending an insurance, which is like cashless insurance in case of an accident where they require to be hospitalized. So that kind of benefit we are extending to Highway Heroes and very happily sharing that almost 20,000 plus drivers have already taken this initiative as part of it. And yeah, there have been several situations whereby the whole product has actually helped them in situations. Do you remember any such situation, Gautam?
Yeah, Himanshu. After handling about close to more than 100,000 incidences on road, I have a huge book. But one incident which is very, very close to heart and which was very overwhelming. There was an instance outside Pune where a truck was hit by a local jeep. And the guy who was driving the jeep under the influence of alcohol died. On the contrary, as the situation happened, these locals instead these locals actually started troubling the driver and they wanted to rather kill him and burn the truck also. But as they say, there's always a golden hour, and with timely intervention of our local lawyers on the spot, we not only managed to save the goods and we also managed to save the life of the driver. So yes, this incident is very close to heart and we'll keep on doing the good job.
Yeah.
And thanks to AITWA and thanks to...
Can you tell me what is the importance, according to you, of truck drivers in terms of the entire economy of the country?
Yeah.
How important is a truck driver?
So, as I mentioned, truck drivers are, though they are considered as the lowest in the food chain of the entire logistics sector, but trust you me, they are the most valuable asset in the entire logistics ecosystem, because the entire logistics or the transportation industry thrives on movement of trucks, which carries goods from one place to another. But the trucks cannot move on their own. There has to be a driver which makes sure that the truck runs 24/7 and ships the good from one place to another on time. And trust you me, the condition of the roads, though they are improving, but the driving conditions are not as conducive as anyone as a private vehicle owner we can imagine. So in those extreme conditions of weather, of fatigue, and of course staying away from their family for months altogether, these truck drivers often neglect their own personal interests and ferry the goods from one place to another. That's what we do. And at the end of the day, when we receive as individuals, when we receive the goods at our home, at our warehouse, we never ever understand and realize the importance of truck drivers in this whole ecosystem. So to actually support them, and of course talking about the pain point, of course the situations which requires hospitalization, they are generally neglected. In case of any accident, truck driver is considered to be the one who's at loss, whether physically or even in terms of driving the vehicle, he is considered to be at loss. So in those situations, our Highway Heroes Plus provides them cashless hospitalization without any questions being asked.
And to add to that, in case they have any legal or otherwise hassle on the road, as a part of the program, they can just reach our 24/7 helpline, which is manned by legal experts, and take all the solution that they want, which we've been doing for them.
Yeah, and I clearly remember when we started this whole initiative 3 to 4 years ago, the truck drivers were so confident that the entire initiative got viral when they started saying, "Talk to my lawyer."
No, right.
Mere vakil se baat karo. So that kind of confidence we have given to the truck drivers, that in case of any situation, don't worry, we will help you on call, and in case need be, the lawyer reaches on the spot within 2 business hours, anywhere in the country. So, and that lawyer is there on the spot talking to the official in the local language for the truck driver without any questions being asked. So that's the level of access we have provided and the solution that we have offered to the entire logistics sector, and it's supporting the driver, because driver is the one जो सबसे पहले पिटता है. I mean, कोई भी situation होती है, कोई नहीं पूछता कि गलती किसकी है. What they do is वो immediately driver को पहले उतारते हैं, उसको पीटना शुरू कर देता है, उसके बाद की बात करते हैं. इतनी देर में driver gets intimidated. वो डर गया, अब वो डर गया तो भाग जाएगा, तो मालिक का नुकसान, सामान का नुकसान, और वो नहीं भागता तो उसका खुद का नुकसान. तो how do we solve this jigsaw puzzle? Thankfully, our solution is actually helping drivers to lead their life confidently. Of course, we can't replace them. हम उनके लिए AC नहीं लगा सकते, हम उनके लिए बाकी चीज़ें नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन at least जो उनका condition है, I mean, जो उनकी situation है, हम उनको जरूर easy बना सकते हैं through this product.
Driver shortage is something that is a cause of concern not just in India, but across the globe. Even Europe is struggling with shortage of truck drivers for various reasons. Fortunately, Europe has the International Road Union, or IRU as we know it, which has been conducting detailed studies on driver shortage and proposing changes that will tackle this concern. So what exactly is IRU doing, and what are its thoughts on drivers and driver shortage? Let's hear it from Natalia Corchado, Strategic Planning and Project Portfolio Manager at IRU, in a very exclusive statement to Trans India for the Partners in Progress series.
Trucking is essential for businesses, logistics, and the society. The first and last leg of almost every journey is done by road. Its revenue accounts for 3% of global GDP, more than any other transport mode. It is essential for intermodality and also a source of social cohesion, as it brings economic growth to rural and remote areas. But the road transport industry cannot operate without its most important asset, drivers. Drivers keep the world moving. They keep our shelves stocked and our hospitals supplied and everything else in between. They are the heroes of the road. They do this whether in normal times or during crisis. We do not respect them enough because they sometimes have to face very hard working conditions. According to our latest report, more than 3.6 million truck driver jobs were unfilled in 2024. The truck driver shortage is a long-term structural issue that persists in all the regions that we have studied, despite an easing transport demand in the last couple of years. Why this is? Because the profession is not attracting enough young people. Additionally, there are barriers that are making it even more difficult to attract young people. In the countries studied, less than 12% of the truck driver workforce are below 25 years old. And this figure goes down to 4% in the case of Europe. We might think that this is due to the aging of the overall population. But if we look at the total labor force, the share of young employees below 25 is above the share of young truck drivers, which means that the trucking industry is attracting less young people for truck driver positions than the average of other professions. As a consequence, there is a growing share of drivers that are close to retirement. The share of drivers above 55 years old is about a third of the total driver workforce in regions such as Europe, the US, and Australia. This means that many of them will retire in the next years. We expect 3.4 million truck drivers to retire by 2029. Many of them, or some of them, might be replaced, but given the limited influx of young people, many will not be replaced. So the shortage will get bigger and bigger in the coming years if no action is taken to make the profession more attractive. But why is the truck driver profession not attracting enough young people? Well, across the countries that we have studied, we observe some common challenges. First is the lack of parking infrastructure. Drivers have to park in places where they don't have access to food, showers, toilets. Sometimes the parkings are unsecure, so they risk cargo theft and assault. And sometimes they don't even have access to a parking slot, which means they have to park in places where they risk accidents and fines. Second, the poor image of the profession, the long waiting times at borders, and the long times away from home are also key challenges in most of the countries studied. The last, the bad treatment of drivers at delivery sites is also a key challenge in some regions, such as in the case of Europe, where it was ranked as top 2 issue by drivers in our European Truck Driver Barometer 2024, just right after the lack of parking. Additionally, there are some barriers that make it difficult to access the profession, notably the high cost to access the profession, and secondly, the minimum age to access the profession, which is still over 18 years old in some countries, such as Argentina, which means young people are not ready to wait until the moment they can start working as drivers. RU is putting strong efforts to help the industry address this issue. First, we size and monitor the driver shortage to raise awareness of the importance of the issue, as well as to strengthen our advocacy to make the profession more attractive and more accessible. Second, we work to improve drivers' working conditions, notably to improve the access to safe and secure parking infrastructure. And we obtain 320 million euros from the European Commission for this aim in 2024. We also partnered with the Global Shippers Alliance and the International Transport Workers Federation to create a charter, which signatories, more than 500 corporations and organizations worldwide, commit to improve the treatment of drivers at loading and unloading sites. We also work to improve border crossings and reduce border crossing waiting times. We also work to remove barriers to access the profession, notably under the revision of the EU Driving License Directive that is being done currently, we advocate for a harmonization of the minimum age to access the driver profession to 18 years old, as well as to have an accompanied driving scheme at 17 to allow young drivers to start safely their career and avoid having young people choosing other professions because of the minimum age. We also advocate to facilitate the import of third country professional drivers, because in some regions, as it is the case in Europe, the aging of the overall population means that the national labor pool might not be sufficient to cover the driver gap. We also work with the European Commission on 2 technical assistance projects to facilitate professional truck driver mobility. We also foster the exchange of good practices to improve driver retention and attraction between industry stakeholders, notably through regular webinars and also through best practices communication campaigns. And last, we also work to improve the image of the profession through communication campaigns and notably through our RU Shapers campaigns, where we feature drivers across the world who promote the benefits of being a truck driver. But the road transport industry, transport operators, national road transport associations are also putting strong efforts to address this issue, notably through programs to cover the license and qualification costs and attract young people and women. Also by making the driver lives easier, more comfortable, by offering flexible career paths, more flexible working times, more comfortable vehicles, and so on. They also have campaigns and programs to promote the image of the profession, as well as to recognize the work that drivers are doing.
There is no doubt that trucks are the lifeline of the road transport industry, and they are the ones that fuel our homes and lives. We may not realize their importance, but take your memories to the initial few weeks of COVID. It was the truck drivers who were on the highways making sure that food, medicines, and other supplies reached your home. Even today, everything that you consume has traveled by a truck at some point or the other. So next time you see a truck driver, a thank you to their efforts would go a long way in encouraging them. We will see you again next week with excerpts from AIMTC's Managing Committee meeting in Himachal Pradesh, the first under the presidentship of Dr. Harish Sabharwal. So until next week, stay safe and drive safe. Jai Hind.